tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hi everyone! We're here at AFTERBUZZ TV for the first ever Ground Floor After Show. I'm Britta Garsow.
I'm Carli Britta.
We're really excited about the show.
Super excited!
We love it. It's the second season. So this is a third episode called Space Invaders, but let's just recap the first two in case you missed them. Basically, if you knew the end of first season, Brody decided to go to Paris with Jenny instead of going to work. Kind of a poor choice. So he got fired, clearly. And so to work his way back up the corporate ladder, he has to start at the ground floor. Funny, huh? We didn't do this show for the first episode, but when we watched the first episode, we're like, this is such a good idea. Because, you know, like, where else could the show have gone from there? Like, so now Jenny and Brody are really happy together, and it's like she's working on the ground floor, and he's working on the top floor. And he's actually really good at it, like how he made the whole recycle system, and he's really into it. So he is actually working really hard. He's not kind of just blowing it off because it's easier work than being a financial planner. So, which also, it's really great that he said, everyone's like, you know, you could get a job at a different, like, financial planning firm. And he's like, no, I really want to work here. So that's why he's starting at the ground floor and working his way back up. Yeah, so I really like how they did that. And then on the second episode, we find out that Lindsay, who's the new character this season, she's kind of the new Brody. She is the new Brody. She took his job. Yeah, but they're very different. Yeah. And she went to high school with Jenny, and Jenny was like a mean girl and bullied her for a long time. So I thought that was interesting, too, how we don't really know anything about Jenny. She never really talks about her family besides, no, she never really talks about her family ever. No. And so we just know that she was really poor. In high school, she said she lived in a trailer with her mom. Right? Yeah. And that was basically it. And so it's funny to see someone from her past come back, and now they're actually friends. So I like that they kind of got over the whole bullying in high school, mean girl situation. Yeah. And they're really different. And Lindsay reminds us of Claude from Less Than Perfect. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that show. We're obsessed with it still. It's 10 years old. It was on ABC TGIF lineup back in like the 2000s. It was another workplace comedy really similar to this, and Claude had red hair like Lindsay and like, really quirky personality. So there's a lot of similarities. Yeah, I really like Lindsay. I think she's hilarious, and I think in general the whole cast is really funny because they're all kind of comedians. Yeah, if anyone watches Undateable, a lot of the cast is on this show and on Undateable. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of crossover, even guest appearances. They're basically the same show. Really are. One's a workplace comedy and one's like a bar comedy, I guess. Yeah, I guess you could call it a workplace comedy because their workplace is a bar, but yeah, this is like corporate workplace. Yeah, so if you haven't seen Less Than Perfect, we recommend it. But so let's get to episode 3, shall we? Yeah. Because it was our favorite so far this season. I know there's only been 3 episodes, but it was really funny. And I wasn't even disappointed that there was no Christmas episode because, I mean, it's... Well, and they filmed this show a while ago. Yeah, they did. Right after season 1 ended, they filmed all the episodes for season 2, and then it just took so long to premiere for some reason. So it wouldn't really make sense for a Christmas episode. But, yeah, I really don't know how they would do that because their show doesn't center around, like, friends and family. It's just about being at work. Yeah. So... Where I feel like they never take breaks, and I really don't think that they would leave for Christmas. Like, all those people would be at the office on Christmas Day working. That's true. So we see that Brody gets his first paycheck as a ground floor personnel. Ooh, Brody. He didn't understand. Oh my gosh. He said takes it so hard. His paycheck was as much as he pays to get his car waxed each month. So and that was when he thought that he was getting paid weekly. Yeah. So, hello, lifestyle change. So, him and Harvard make a bet to see who can spend the least amount of money until their paycheck is up. So they have 2 weeks, and at the end of the 2 weeks, well, before they get paid again, who has the most money would obviously win the bet. And since Brody was a financial planner, I felt like it was pretty simple for him. He just had to come up with a new budget. But he kind of just decided to move in with Jenny and not really tell her. He's just like, yeah, I'm crashing here. I gave my apartment up to save money, which I thought was really disrespectful because that's like a really big step. And like they were saying, they'd only been together for 6 months. And all of a sudden he's just moving in and not even asking her. He definitely like overstepped some boundaries.
Well, and it was really unlike Brody because Brody's always been like, really loves Jenny. And like he basically quit his job to spend the summer with her.
Yeah.
So like, it's so unlike him to just move in. And like he said, I basically just stayed and never left. Like, he just stayed over one night and then didn't leave. So I feel like it's really unlike him. But I also think that he is such a like type A personality that he was just thinking, like, what's going to save me the most money? Oh, not living in my apartment. I'll just move in with Jenny.
That's definitely his thought process. And I know it wasn't like a conscious effort. But I thought that it was basically he was using her for her apartment, and I know that she's his girlfriend and probably would have offered if he would have asked, but still it made me kind of sad because I've never seen him kind of treat her just like a transaction type of thing.
Yeah.
So it was a different step in their relationship. But I'm glad they're not living together. I think that would kind of ruin them. They're already together all the time at work.
Yeah, and when he was leaving, I thought that he was going to move into the neighbor Ray's apartment.
Oh, I thought he was going to move in with three-peat.
Oh, maybe. Well, we still don't know where Brody's going to be living, so we'll, like, discuss that later during production.
And then I always think they live in New York, but they actually live in San Francisco, and it's so expensive to live there. So
yeah.
I don't really know where he's going to be living if he can't even afford.
I know, I guess we'll see because...
But he said he found a place.
Yeah,
so.
And I hope it's close to that. And that's actually going to be great to see where he lives and, like, because we never even saw his nice apartment. Or maybe we saw, like, once last season. But to see, like, Brody's place, it'll be fun.
It's actually, I feel like ground floor just fits into so many different aspects of the show. Like, it fits into him working on the ground floor, but also, you know how people, like, wealthier people live in penthouses overlooking the city, and when you're, like, not as wealthy, you live on, like, the ground floor. So
yeah, it's hierarchy. It's like you start at the bottom, and you work your way up.
Yeah, so I feel like the show could go on for a while.
Me too, but I don't think, I mean, I feel like this season he's definitely going to be on the ground floor.
Yeah, the whole season.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And back to the bet, sometimes I think Harvard is kind of annoying. I think that he's like a little too much, but this episode he made me laugh, and he actually had some really good insight. Okay, so they were at the bar, and he called himself, he said, I'm an urban survivalist, and I'm like, what is that? Like, how can I be one of those? Because he said he doesn't ever spend money at a bar. And he goes, it's a bar. Do you know what bar is short for, Brody? And he's like, no. He goes, oh, it's short for barter. You barter for your drinks.
So he gives the bartender hugs for his beer. Mind you, it's Coors Light, so, like, I feel like it's a very fair exchange. A loving hug for basically water.
Yeah.
I mean... I think it's appropriate.
But it was just so funny, and he was dead serious, and it actually was pretty brilliant of him.
Yeah, it's so... I just loved that he coined a term, urban survivalist, because I feel like we are living that life. And
we are.
Urban survivalist.
But I don't know how good I'm surviving.
Yeah, not as good as Harvard. But actually, Harvard only had $1 left over after a week of spending, and I would hope that most people would have more than $1 from their paycheck left over.
But once again, they live in San Francisco.
True.
Which is supposed to be super expensive.
Very true.
So, and we also saw Jenny, her name is Briga. What's her last name in real life?
It's Heelan, I believe. It's Heelan.
So Briga Heelan.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
She is beautiful.
And she's also on Undateable.
Yeah, but I like her on this show better.
Me too. I like her on the show better too.
And so in real life, she's engaged to the guy that plays 3P. Do you know his name?
Yeah, his name is... I have it down here. Oh, it's Renee Goob. That's his name.
No.
Yeah, it is.
What?
His name's Renee Goob.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm like 100% sure. I looked it up to make sure. Yeah, that's his name. But they're really cute together, actually.
They're so cute
I was
together.
surprised because clearly on the show they're not together because Brody and Jenny are the main couple, and 3P's just kind of a workaholic.
In the first season, we never really saw them interact. In this season, I feel like they're BFFs.
Yeah, like we saw them at the bar tonight talking, and she was trying to help him. So I think that because they're engaged in real life, that they're going to get more scenes on screen, but hopefully not become a couple because I love Brody and Jenny.
I do too, and I was just going to say that I feel like Brody and Jenny have so much on-screen chemistry that you would think that they would date in real life because they seem so good together, but she also has so much chemistry with him.
Yeah.
So it's funny that she can act kind of like affectionate with both of them.
Yeah, and Skylar Astin is dating Anna
Camp.
From
Pitch Perfect.
From Pitch Perfect, and she was on like 2 episodes of Ground Floor last season, and her character was hilarious, so I would love to see her come back because I know they're still together in real life. So
I loved her character on Ground Floor, and I don't think anyone really liked her character in Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect, yeah. I mean,
she's
hopefully
better
number 2.
Yeah. But they're also really cute too. But can we just talk about how great Skylar Astin is in general?
Yeah, we started watching this show
talented.
because of him. I mean, that they basically made a show for him because like he just became this huge star after Pitch Perfect, and he's so talented.
He's
such
a good singer. And see, I think everyone always says, actors always say that comedy is the hardest to do. And I mean, I'm not an actor, so I don't really know for sure, like firsthand. But it seems really tough, and the fact that he is really funny and also a really great singer, and he's pretty young, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, he's very impressive, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And then to have the show even go on to 2 seasons, like, so far, I think that's even impressive.
Yeah.
Because it's on TBS, like, it could go away. But I really love it, so hopefully not.
I know. And any other storylines?
Well, Mansfield, me and Britta are not huge fans of Mansfield.
He's kind of bothers me.
And I know he's a staple in the show, and I get it. But I actually liked him this episode, that he missed giving advice to Brody, missed being, like, his fatherly figure.
He really is, like, a father figure, and I think that just goes to show, like, the tough love aspect of their relationship. I think that Brody obviously, like, worked hard to get where he was, and then he made a really big mistake, and Mansfield, being like a father to him, could have just been like, okay, well, we'll give you your job back, but, you know, tisk, tisk, don't do that again. But instead, he fired him. And, I mean, obviously, he's going to learn more that way than if he were to have gotten his job back. So I do think that I like his character with Brody. Just in general, I think that he's a bit dramatic. I know he's the boss at, like, a huge company, and he's supposed to be portraying, like, a really powerful guy, but I think he just overdoes it. And I don't know if that's how his character's written or if that's just his acting.
Yeah.
But,
well, if people listening, watching, if you love your boss as much as Brody loves Mansfield and Mansfield loves Brody, like, don't lose that job because they have such a great relationship. So it's kind of hard to watch when he's like, we can't chit-chat anymore, and Brody's like, we can't talk. But, I mean, I just love that he, like, went around his whole we can't talk anymore rule to give Brody this advice about Jenny because Brody was kind of blind about the whole situation, living together thing.
And I mean, Mansfield is really the only adult character in all of their lives, it seems. Like, they never talk about their parents at all.
They don't.
So I feel
and
like
there's not even very older
people at the office.
People working there.
Yeah, so I think that he really is the one that gives them all advice. And, like, obviously all the people on the ground floor, their lives are kind of a mess because they don't really have anyone to look up to. And so I think that Mansfield, like, not only wants to help Brody, but also, like, Jenny and Lindsay, which he seems to really like Lindsay, too.
Yeah.
And so I think I like his character in that respect to just kind of be the guidance for all of them. But, yeah, like I said, there's something about him I'm not too sure about.
I think it's just his voice. But people have made it really far on their voices. Patrick Warburton has a really distinct voice, made a career out of it, basically.
Also in Less Than Perfect.
Watch
and
the show.
at Disneyland.
Yeah. Do you want to do predictions?
Yeah.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Okay, so I am going to go with what I said before. I think that, well, Brody said that he found an apartment, but I think that he's going to move in with 3P because to me it makes sense since they're best friends and 3P can clearly afford, like, a nice apartment. He probably doesn't have roommates. And so, and since they're not working together every day, I think that it would be, like, a good balance for them.
Yeah, I'm going to go off what you said because I do think that could happen. And since Repeat said, like, he hasn't been out in months and he doesn't even know what, like, nighttime is anymore, that, like, they're going to start either going out together or if they do move in together, like, our roommates, entertaining, like, having parties at their house. Because Harvard had a party last season, right? And that was, like, a really funny episode.
It was.
And I can just picture, like, if Brody, or even if Brody just moves into his, like, single apartment.
Yeah.
I think that would be a fun episode to watch, like, him having people over.
Oh,
a housewarming
wait.
party.
What if he dates Lindsay?
Oh, what if Repeat dates Lindsay?
dates
I thought that, too, but...
They're so different, but I don't know.
Yeah, or if Jenny has a friend for him. She didn't really answer his question. But yeah, for him, I hope that he finds a girl because he's kind of where Brody was, like, before he met Jenny. We're just, like, working all the time. And Mansfield doesn't even really like Three-Peat that much. So he's not even getting, like, the credit he deserves. So he might as well go and, like, have fun.
Yeah.
So I hope that we see that.
I do, too.
And maybe, I mean, back, like, in February, it'd be nice to see a Valentine's episode because, I don't know, I just think, like, Brody and his... You kind of think of him from, like, Pitch Perfect, too, Skylar Astin.
Yeah.
And, like, his big romantic gestures.
He really does those.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch.
They'll probably
like,
do one for sure.
Something like that. Or an anniversary with them, but we already know they've only been dating 6 months, so...
Yeah.
I think that's the only predictions I have. I just...
Yeah.
Oh, and then... Okay, I don't know if any of you saw this, but there was, like... a preview of tonight's episode on TBS on their Facebook, and it had, I don't know his real name, but his name's Justin from Undateable.
He looks like a Justin, though.
Yeah, he really looks like a Justin. And it's so funny because, like, he's dating Bridja Heelan on Undateable, and then she's on this show dating Brody. And so there's, like, crossover again. And there was, like, a little scene with him, but then it wasn't in tonight's episode. So I don't know if that's next week. If anyone knows, please let us know. Because he's also a great singer. And in the clip, they sing. And I love that. I love it. I love the musicalness.
And also, you guys, please go on iTunes and vote and rate us 5 stars. And go on YouTube and comment. Let us know what you thought about the episode. Ask us questions. Let us know about Justin's guest appearance.
Yeah, please let us know. And anything else you have to say. Because we love this show.
We do. We hope you do too. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be here next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.